Hello YouTube, this is Methodical and welcome to round 1 of the Pauper challenge that was on September 17th. In our first opening hand, we're up against Dissonance, and in a vacuum this hand is pretty good. We don't have a lot of early plays. We would have liked an early flyer, but having some removal in case we're against an aggro deck will help us out a lot. And having a Battle Screech is generally a good value card, so I don't mind it. We'll be able to play anything we draw. So I go ahead and keep this, and we're actually pretty lucky. It turns out our opponent is playing Stompy, so this early removal will come in handy. So I'll just let this play out a little bit. It's pretty simple for the first few turns. We're just going to burn whatever he plays, just so that way we're not losing too much life early on. Drawing the Radiant Fountain is a pretty good draw. That gives us the opportunity to gain some life throughout this game, especially when we have these bounce lands to pull them back. Here, I chose to play the Thraben Inspector instead of the Battle Screech, mainly because only getting down 2 1/1s means you can attack with everything, and if I chump, or basically trade with the Korean Rager, they are going to trade, and then I won't be able to flash back the Battle Screech. So essentially, I want to play the Thraben Inspector. I know he's not going to attack with the Ranger in this instance, and I'm hoping he can't get too much damage in. Unfortunately, he does have the Rancor. He's going to hit us for 6, but that's fine. We'll be able to basically play the Screech and flash it back to get a lot of blockers for down the road. We're at 23 life, so we don't mind losing some here. And we're going to be able to crack a clue. So all in all, it's not too bad for us at the moment. And we're actually pretty lucky when we leave 1 red up just in case we draw a burn spell. We would have wanted to cast it there. But here we get another Thraben Inspector, so we can play that and play Battle Screech and Flashback, so that we still have a 2 toughness guy on defense. Would have been nice to also keep a Galvanic Blast, but don't need to do that. The double block, pretty obvious. We're only going to lose 1 guy, so I feel pretty good about that. But here things get a little dicey. Now he's got a 4/4, can't be blocked without flyers. We did draw a Core Skyfisher, it's pretty good. I am a little concerned though that he might be able to grow it bigger, but all we can really do is play that. We have the option of mounting either the Radiant Fountain to gain some life, or the Thraben Inspector to draw more cards, and at this point I'm still in the market of drawing extra cards. We're able to bounce the Radiant Fountain anyways with the Boros Garrison. And here things get a little unfortunate. He does have additional pumps for his Ledgewalker, so yeah, we just got to kill the Bit Skulk and kind of hope that at some point we can get enough power in front of this so that way we can actually trade with it, because currently we have no way of winning this race without drawing the Rallied Peasants, which we do not currently have. So here we're basically just going to drop the Core Skyfisher, and we do have 7 power with which to put in front of it. We just have to hope that we will survive. Thankfully, he's only going to be able to trample over for 2. We did bounce the Radiant Fountain when we played this Core Skyfisher, just in case we did survive this turn. We do want to gain some of that life back. And so here things do not look too bad. Basically, we're going to be able to play the Palace Sentinels. We're going to be able to block the Korean Ranger with that, and we can basically just throw everything else in front of the Nest Invader. With 4 life, we should be able to survive that, and even keep the Monarch. So the extra cards off that should be pretty good for us. Going to even be able to crack the clue. All in all, I think at this point we've turned the corner, we've stabilized. We do know that he has a couple Rancors, so we're going to keep tossing things in front of that. But we draw a Journey to Nowhere. That is fantastic. Get rid of that elephant. And at this point, there isn't that much he can do to come back. He does have 2 Rancors, but we have enough toughness on the board that we can just keep throwing anything we want in front of it. Here, I'm basically going to block with both Palace Sentinels and the Glinthawk, just to make sure I'm playing around any shenanigans. He's only going to be able to kill 1 guy no matter what, and just getting the extra toughness in front and be able to play around any pump, any 2 pumps. Yeah, just gotta make sure we're doing that. And at this point, it's just a matter of cycling through a deck with all of our cards, flashing back. The burn spells of our graveyard just to kill his last guy, and then beating him down over the next couple turns. Yep. I'll just let this play out so you guys can watch it happen, but basically it's not long after this. We have burn spells to kill his guy, but at this point we don't really want to do that. We have the win on board, being able to make his guy unable to block, attack with everything, and blast his face. So, and that is how we win game 1. So we'll jump over to game 2. And before we jump into it, we're just going to quickly go through what sideboarding we did. So in the Stompy matchup, the Lone Missionaries are amazing. The Prismatic Strands are absolutely amazing. I love bringing these in. And Standard Bearers are generally quite good. If they don't have an answer to it, you basically blank all of their Pump, all of their Rancors, all of that kind of effect. But they do have things like Gut Shot, Fight Effects, and the Longbow. So we brought those 6 cards in. We took out 2 of our 3 Palace Sentinels. I decided to leave 1 in for this round. We always take out Battle Screeches against the Stompy matchup because they will be bringing in the Scatter Shot Archers. So we don't want just incidentally getting these things killed. And we brought out 1 Rally the Peasants. Sometimes I leave this in just as a way of either winning out of nowhere or pumping up our guys so we can block even if he manages to pump the guy that can normally get through. Yeah, and then we also brought out 1 Prophetic Prism. It's usually fine to do that. In this place, we could have also taken out a land, but in this first one, I didn't do that. Alright. So, we're just going to go on into this. This first hand is a really risky keep, but as long as I get 1 land in the next 3-ish turns, it's a pretty great hand. Being able to play the Thraben Inspector as an early blocker and having 2 removal spells for his early plays is going to be great. And even if that's all we do for the first 3 turns, that's usually enough to kind of carry us along. And as long as we get this Standard Bearer down at some opportune time, it'll be really good for us. We also have our Prophetic Prisms, Core Skyfisher. Like, it's a great hand, except we just want 1 more land. Which we didn't even draw. We drew the best land in the Boros Garrison. So, you know, sometimes you just got to get a little lucky. Played the Thraben Inspector. We know it's going to stop the Querying Ranger from attacking, but it looks like he is able to generate quite a bit of mana off that, so feel a little bad. That's fine. In this circumstance, we're just going to take our beats for a little bit. He does play the Longbow, which I am a little worried about at this point, but currently he's only going to be able to produce 2 mana on next turn, so he won't be able to ping it down immediately. It seems like he's essentially stuck on mana, which is pretty good for us. And I have the option of bolting the Ranger, but he needs to draw 1 more land anyway to be able to pull that off, and I'm not worried about him Archer and untap Archer yet since we don't have any flyers. So basically we're just going to sit on Blast and kill something if we need to. Decided we might as well kill that now because since we are getting pretty low, we don't want to take extra incidental damage for no reason. We would like 1 more land just to get our hand to flow a little smoother, but we'll just have to manage. He does kill our Standard Bearer there, which is a little unfortunate. So at this point, we're just going to kill off everything and start racing a little bit. We're also basically hoping that we can double block his guy. And unfortunately, this does lose to him having the Hunger. It does only trade with 1 of our Skyfishers, but this means that double blocking is essentially off the table. We didn't really have many other options given our hand. So now we just kind of have to keep racing as best we can. Since we know we don't have a way of killing it. He's going to keep hitting us. The one lucky thing going for us is the fact that he still hasn't drawn a second land, but he does keep getting these Rangers so he can keep pumping out multiple things a turn. This prismatic strands is absolutely what we needed. Otherwise, we're going to have to be like chump blocking this turn. With this gives us the possibility of winning this one. We're able to completely negate the damage here, and in one future turn we'll also be able to negate the damage again. Unfortunately, he now has this Eldrazi spawn, which means next turn he will be able to equip this longbow, and things may get a little risky at that point. We're just going to keep churning through our deck, drawing lots of cards, eventually playing something. And we're attacking here because we need to try and get him as low as possible. Here, he is only attacking with his Ledgewalker. I was assuming he would kill my Glinthawk before attacking, because if he did that, then I would be forced to play the Prismatic Strands, but since he gave me the opportunity, I'm just going to chump block. It allows me to save the Strands for another turn in the future. So here, he is going to try and kill my Skyfisher, and I did think for a little while here, and I can't really afford to burn the Prismatic Strands. So I start trying to draw some cards just to see what my options are. Don't really get anything in the way of good options, so I'm just going to let it die. And so we have this one Lightning Bolt. We have a lot of options for what to do with that. Basically, right here, we know we're going to have to burn the Prismatic Strands anyway. He's already pinged our Glinthawk once. So we have an interesting decision, because we can use this Lightning Bolt on his Nest Invader. It's going to force him to use it. And whether he pings our face or the Glinthawk, it doesn't really matter, because either way, at that point, we Prismatic Strands. His Ledgewalker's not going to do anything, and his pings will not do anything. Our Glinthawk will survive, and essentially we're pretty good for this turn. It also means he will not be able to equip this longbow again, which is why we're targeting the Nest Invader. He does throw a Hunger the Howl Pack on his Scattershot, which I feel is not the best play, but he's trying to make something else big and scary that won't die to just a bolt. Here, though, we actually have the win. That last Lightning Bolt draw, or the two I just drew in a row, was pretty lucky. Basically now we have two vials to stop his two guys from blocking. Attack with everything. He can block one, 4 gets through, and then we have 6 burn in hand. So we just managed to squeak out that win. Right down to the wire. We wouldn't have survived the next turn, since he would have been able to Archer, untap, kill our Hawk, and then we had no way of blocking. Playing the Standard Bearer would have prevented the untap, so I suppose we would have lived one more turn, but yeah, we just got him. So come back for the next video and you'll see what happens in round 2.